So just to clarify, these are strengths that only really apply to kind of Aquinas's approach to natural law in his concept of the primary precepts. Okay, so number one, during sex itself, there are sort of hormones that are released in both men and women, one of them being oxytocin. Women are apparently more susceptible to it, so it affects them a bit more than it does men. And it's called kind of like the happy hormone because it makes you feel love and kind of bonding towards the thing that you're with when the hormone's released. So it's the same thing that happens like during childbirth as well. The same sort of hormones are released so that the mother feels a more of a connection to the child. So theoretically, if that is the kind of hormone that's being released during the act of sex, then it would suggest that natural law is kind of correct to link sex with some sort of unity and some sort of commitment because even our bodies and the hormones that they're releasing are trying to get us to form an emotional bond and a unity with the person that we're having sex with. So again, would suggest that it should be something we're doing with like the same person because we've got this bond and this connection formed between us, and our hormones are helping us to do that. Second point, the kind of the value that natural law places on sex is arguably a good thing as well. Some kind of more liberal or kind of less conservative approaches to sexual ethics arguably kind of cheapen the act of sex and make it seem as though it's not as valuable as Aquinas' version of natural law does. So, it can be seen as kind of like if your body is yours to do with whatever you want, then and it's not particularly important to you, then perhaps other people are going to kind of treat your body as not being particularly important to them also. Natural law and Aquinas' version of natural law avoids that. It says that, kind of my body, my kind of sexual interactions with people, they're special, they're sacred, and they're only for kind of me and my husband or wife. And so it places like quite a high value on them, hence the heavy side of the scale. So yeah, sex for Aquinas is a valuable sexual acts, I should say, are of high value, which is arguably a good thing. The third one, if we're going to say that kind of one of the purposes, the telesis of sex is unity and that kind of like forming of one flesh, as it were, then it's quite a helpful thing to help us kind of like make moral decisions by. So we can sit here and we can say, right, okay, well, a sexual act with a random sort of person that I've met in a bar, it will certainly, well, certainly, but it may well be pleasurable, like exciting, etc. But is it going to help me form sort of a unity and feel connected to someone? Probably not, and therefore it's not necessarily the morally right thing to do. Sex with my husband stroke wife, is that going to make me feel kind of a unity and a connection to another person? Probably, because there's someone I'm in a relationship with and I have kind of feelings for and a connection with. So yeah, that's a good thing to do. So this idea of kind of like unity is potentially a helpful way of like getting us to distinguish between whether something is a morally good or morally bad thing to do. Does it kind of unite us and connect us with someone, or does it not? Okay, and that can like help you make your judgment. And the fourth kind of strength is, I guess, more of an inductive argument. It's like based on statistical induction. So we're observing that, or we can observe that the majority of children who are raised in families where they've got like mom, dad, married, etc., tend to achieve higher academically than children who are from single parent families or whose parents aren't married. So arguably, natural law and Aquinas, he's got a point there that being in a heterosexual monogamous marriage is the best place to raise a children, just based on the fact that they academically tend to do better than other children, like flourish within educational settings.